This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
He loops out to left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run, makes the play. And flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter. There it goes. Deep to left. Really deep. See ya. Oh, my goodness. What a shot by Aaron Judge.
Oh, what about left field? You've got to be kidding me. Goodbye, home run. I swear to the Lord, you got to put four fingers up. Torres comes to
See ya. See ya. See ya. A home run by Derek Jeter. Oh, what a ball game. A game-winning walk-off home run by Derek Jeter. He is Mr. November.
this one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run.
It is high, it is far, it is gone. A tremendous home run to the back end of the grandstand in left field. The Sanchino. No, that Gary is scary.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Ah! Yankees win.
What is going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Hope everybody's doing well. Episode 146 of the podcast tonight. The Yanks and Braves just had a pretty a very brief two-game series at Yankee Stadium, where the Bombers took the two-game sweep. It was a solid bounce-back series for the Yankees after splitting with Philadelphia and then going to the Trop and, they lose 3 out of 4 there because they always do, it feels like. But they bounced back this weekend, or rather this week, at Yankee Stadium versus the Braves, and they look good, man. Luke Voit belted a home run the first inning of Game 1 for a 3-run shot. That was good to see. He's been producing all season, had a couple more hits tonight in Game 2 of the series, but he pulled one deep to left. And if you're watching the video cast, you see it right here on the screen. So the Yankees took a 3-0 lead in that first inning, and they got some good performances from their pitching staff this weekend too. So Jordan Montgomery looked good out there. He went 6 strong innings. Went 5 innings where he shut out the Atlanta Braves, but then he kind of had a James Paxton type of 6th inning where he, I guess he tired out a bit and he, surrendered a couple of singles and then the big 3-run blast for a 3 spot for Atlanta in that 6th inning. But he still finished strong. He still finished with 6 innings under his belt, 3 runs earned, and a quality start and a victory next to his name. So it was good to see a bounce-back start from Montgomery after struggling against Boston last time out. He looked good. Aaron Judge hit his 9th home run of the season. Aaron Boone takes him out early. Turns out he's hurt once again. But the Yankees win that game 9-6. And that Aaron Judge injury, it caused the Yankees to call up Clint Frazier. Actually, I think it was the Stanton injury that caused them to call him up, but Frazier did play in Judge's spot tonight, and he was the big talk of the game tonight. Flynn Frazier going out there and just absolutely mashing. 3 more hits for the Yankees tonight. So we're going to talk about Game 2 real briefly. But guys, tonight's episode, we're actually going to have a nice, I had a couple of guests on the show. It's going to be a nice little conversation I had with Kyle and Eddie, 2 big baseball fans, 2 buddies of mine. Kyle is a diehard Yankees fan. Eddie is a diehard Braves fan. So we talked about this Yankees-Braves series, and we just discussed some of the things that went on. But we also talked baseball, the state of baseball with COVID. We talked analytics. We talked robot umpires, all that shit. We talked a lot about a lot of different subjects. It was a very good conversation we all had with each other. And, it was just a natural convo. Nothing really was scripted here. We talked off the top of our heads. And so I hope you guys do enjoy this episode. And we're going to play that in a little bit. But really quick, let's just get right into into my plug. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then as soon as we get back, We'll discuss game 2 for a couple of minutes, and then we'll head right into the chunk of the episode where we talk about, again, Yankees, Braves, and a bunch of other things with Kyle and Eddie. So be right back. All right. Hey guys, really quick, I just want to remind you that if you go to my website at nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, you can find me on social media. You can find the links to my podcast and my blog. So that's all you got to do. Just go to my website, go to nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com, and there will be a page that displays all of my information. All right, guys, thank you. Let's get back to the show. And so, game 2 was great as well. Game 2 was definitely a good game to watch as well. The Yankees took another victory here. What was it, 6-3? Now they started out in a 2-0 hole. Didn't seem like Masahiro Tanaka had his best stuff from the get-go. Couple of hard hits, couple of hard contact outs, and Aaron Hicks had to save him from giving up a 2-run shot in the first inning. But he did manage to get through 4. Aaron Boone took him out with 66 pitches after 4 innings, which was, again, I hate it. I hate how we're killing starting pitching every day. It seems like starting pitching is becoming a dying breed, unfortunately. I don't understand why, but he was doing fine. He wasn't dominant, but Tanaka was doing fine. Limited the Braves to 2 runs in 4 innings and had some strikeouts, but he was getting his outs regardless, But he takes them out, and the Yankees go with their bullpen, and they did the job, though. They still finished, again, with a 6-3 victory, so the pitching did the job. But the story tonight was Clint Frazier, man. He's back, and I'm telling you, they better start him every day. He better be in that lineup every day. Now, he doesn't have to play right field. Hopefully, Aaron Judge gets back ASAP. But, I want him in that lineup. I would like to see an outfield that has the best defensive players in there, but Clint Frazier should be your DH. I think Mike Ford spot starts at first base, but, give him, maybe split him time with Voit, but come off the bench and, produce there. I think the DH spot should mainly be Clint Frazier. I think this guy's fucking bat needs to be in that lineup. It is like he's swinging a wiffle ball bat when you watch it. It's so quick. It's like it doesn't require effort. This guy's swing is so quick, and it's he's an exit velocity machine if you're into that shit. And big home run to start off the fucking to tie the game in that second inning. And then he had 2 more hits, a double and a single. Came a triple shy of the cycle. Yeah, he needs to be in the lineup. And this is a guy who's always been producing. It's not just like I'm talking about tonight as my, point. This is the guy who's produced since he's gotten time in the majors. And it's been sporadic, yet he's still been a productive hitter. You look at the career numbers, good run producing in the span of games that he's played, Clint Frazier. He's always, it's felt like the Yankees always look down on him for some reason, and I don't like that. I think Clint's a guy who needs to get everyday at bats. He's somebody who, in a full season, under normal circumstances, could probably give you 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, be an 800 something OPS guy. That's the guy I see. Now, hopefully, he can get that playing time and provide the Yankees with that spark. He's that spark plug. I think he's a good, little lightning. He provides that electricity. So I want to see Clint Frazier out there. But fucking LeMahieu, 4 more hits tonight. Ho hum. Doesn't mean shit because he does it all the time. He's hitting what? 700 right now? I mean, this guy's going out there and getting multiple hits every day. And he's exactly LeMahieu. And we talked about this with Kyle and Eddie on the podcast that you're about to hear. But LeMahieu is my favorite type of guy. It's all fundamentals. He doesn't worry about launch angle. He's got the normal baseball swing. He makes contact. He's not a guy who's going to hit home runs and then single, double, triple. He's going to be a guy who does the single, double, and then hit the home runs. You know what I mean? His primary focus is getting hits. And if it's going to be singles to right field 70% of the time, I'm all for that because that's the most frequent hit there is. And he's frequently getting on base because he does that. He'll hit the home runs. He'll probably end up with, 7 to 10 this season. But he needs to be out there playing. He needs to be getting everyday at-bats. Obviously he's going to. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was looking at the screen and it started lagging. So obviously LeMahieu is getting everyday at bats. I was thinking two things at once, looking at Frazier's highlights and talking LeMahieu. But no, love DJ, love Frazier. But a good victory for the Yankees tonight. Picking up their 12th victory, and they are now 12-6. So much better after that sluggish little slump they went through for a couple of series. Now they head to, I don't know if this next series is in Boston or New York, but they're playing the Red Sox and starts on Friday. So they got the day off on Thursday. As I am recording this, it is a Wednesday night. Hopefully, as you are listening to this, it is a Wednesday night as well. I'm going to try to put this up as early as I can. But, it should be up, if not Wednesday night, early morning on Thursday. So let's get to the episode, guys. We pretty much talked about what we needed to. I want to get to the meat of things here where, again, we discussed a lot with Kyle and Eddie, Yankees, Braves, and just baseball in general, a lot of topics. But first, let's get to the NYY NYK question of the day, and then we'll get right into the episode. All right. All right, so last time out in episode 145, we talked about, we asked you a question that had to do with Aaron Judge. It was, at the time, Aaron Judge had homered in 5 consecutive games. So the question there was, who was the last Yankee to do so? And the answer to that question is Alex Rodriguez. I believe that was in 2007. But Alex Rodriguez was the answer to that question in episode 145. Now, tonight's NYY NYK question of the day is, how many championships did Yogi Berra win as a player? All right, so pretty simple. Just message me or comment on Facebook or Instagram. Twitter, I'm taking a break from. So just for the meantime, just comment on one of my posts on Facebook or Instagram and let me know the answer. Once again, how many championships did Yogi Berra win as a player? So let me know the answer and I'll give you a shout out, whatever you want. Brownie points, whatever. So guys, let's get into the episode. Again, we discussed baseball with big Yankees fan Kyle and a big Braves fan in Eddie. So we just got right into it. So there's not really an introduction here. I do apologize. Maybe the audio is a little low, a little choppy maybe here and there, but there's nothing we could do. I tried my best to edit it and, it should be good enough for a listen. So hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Yankees Braves chat with Kyle and Eddie for episode 146 of BD4. Guys, thank you so much. Let's get to it.
It's all set up.
See my background, Eddie? Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Looks nice in the Yankee Stadium there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really packed house. Not used to that. Dude, the fucking Paul O'Neill was right, dude. The fucking crowd noise just sound like static when you hear like the fake crowd.
Yeah, it's getting a little weird to me.
Dude, dude, they cheered the fucking auto, like the computer cheer when they hit a fly ball. I'm like, don't cheer that.
Yeah.
That's horseshit.
Dude, I thought they got their all their, I guess you can say, sound effects from the MLB The Show.
Oh yeah, MLB Show really.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh no.
I don't know how much truth there is behind that, but
you're gonna hear fucking Ron, fucking what's his name, Matt Vasgersian, Santa Maria.
He went nuts the other night when Judge hit a pair.
He fucking always.
Oh yeah.
On Sunday Night Baseball last week.
Yeah, he did.
He went bizarre.
I bet MLB The Show called him that morning.
Dude,
Said, hey, we need some more recordings. We need you to do something crazy.
Dude, I was gonna scary tonight. He got a fucking home run, dude. Can't really shit on him tonight.
Yo, The fucking Braves, 11-9 now.
The thing about that is it's very suspect as far as you can call them a legitimate heart attack team, roller coaster team, whatever you want to call it. Just mainly because of the fact that you lose Mike Soroka for pretty much this season and more than likely half of next season. I mean, or possibly forever. That's the hard part, because Achilles tendons are no joke.
No. They got a lot of guys missing from that rotation. They don't have Keuchel. They got rid of him, right? He went to Chicago. Yeah. Felix, I think, opted out. Not that I thought he was going to do much anyways.
Right.
They cut that one dude with the long name.
Fultonevich?
Fulte something.
Yeah.
So I don't really know who's in that staff, and I don't know how far they're going to... I don't know. What do you think the expectations for that team is? The Braves.
I mean, the thing is that it gets to the point where how many years in a row could you say we're ahead of schedule, right? Till it's time where, okay, are we really ahead of schedule? Are we being better than, what people are expecting? Obviously, the last 2 years, they've expected us to finish fourth in that division, behind the Mets, behind the Nationals, behind the Phillies, obviously the Marlins aren't, pretty much given any credit, even though, hey, it's a topic for a different day, but they're having a great season so far. But as far as the Braves, it just seems like they can't get out of their own way. Whether it's injuries, like you said, who's on the rotation? You have Fultonevich, who just got DFA'd. You have Sean Newcomb, who also just got sent down to the minors. A guy that we acquired for Andrelton Simmons about 3 or 4 years ago. He was a number 1 and number 2 pitching prospect for the Angels at the time. So hey, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting some firepower, getting some pitching. That was the whole, I guess you can say, John Hart. That was his plan. Break it down, send Ugla, send Upton, send everybody out, and rebuild. We got the Cunhas out of it, Albies. Not via trade. But it was just those times where we started addressing needs, and we did. And obviously, Acuna is a superstar and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to pitch to win ball games. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like the Braves can't. Like, their bullpen is great. You may not have thought that tonight based off of their performance, or the last 2 games. But at the same time, you're talking about a team that hasn't had a day off in 20 games. No pitching that can go beyond. Can give them a quality start. 1 inning from a guy who I didn't even know was on the roster today.
Yeah, did they do an opener or some shit tonight?
Today, 2 innings. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like, okay, you know what? We're gonna pitch by committee. Other than what's Tuki Toussaint, who pitched yesterday. I mean, that guy is a roller coaster in himself because he looks great one day and looks atrocious the next day. So it just seems like this team. It's either they're gonna realize that they have good players and they can actually play against good teams like the Yankees. I mean, because the Yankees alone are a great organization from a long standpoint. You know what I mean? It seems like, a couple of down years here and there, but you pick up where you left off, and it seems like the Yankees now are a force in the American League. I mean, the Braves want to be there, but it just seems like the last 20 years they've been. I would hate to say it as a Braves fan, but we've been posers in the sense where we have good squads but can never get it over the top. A one and done in the playoffs every year. It's pretty annoying, but it is what it is.
No, I get it. And, I think you still have a shot with that division. Obviously, the 2 contenders you guys are going to go up against mostly is probably Philadelphia and obviously Washington. But you bring up the Yankees, and Kyle, I know you're a big Yankees fan. So what do you think... what's your overall perspective here on their odds here in this 60-game season? Do you think anything's going to, I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think the Yankees, I like the way I'm what we're seeing, though. I just need to work on runners in scoring position, though.
Always.
Last few games, first 2 innings, actually, today, bases loaded, could not drive 1 runner in. Yeah, 2 solo shots are going to help, but, Gary... He's so inconsistent, Ben. A measly .095 to start off today with an OPS of 2. And then you got to worry about Stan and Judge. I mean, with their health, and how they even said they lost weight, but still, you see them on the bench, fucking Giancarlo Stanton again. What happened to him? He has back soreness, I heard.
Honestly, man, I just lost track. They get hurt, I just
There's always something. It's always something with Giancarlo, man. Like he just said, he'd be walking, he hurt his calf, and then you won't see him for 10.
Oh, it was a hamstring.
Yeah, hamstring. But I don't know. Did you hear any news about what happened to Judge today, or just a rest day, or what?
I think the Judge thing is it's lower back, and they said tonight on the telecast that it's going to be day to day. And usually that never ends up good for us. But I feel like with the Yankees, it's always something that's happening.
Everything, something easier. Like
they're obviously a good, team. They've got the talent, they've got the depth, which is what everybody knows them for. But it's the injury bug, or it's how reliant they are on hitting home runs.
Yeah, you gotta be wheezy. You get a good start from Garrett Cole, but you don't know what you're gonna get for the next 4 games.
Yeah, that's on the other side. It's the fucking rotation, like kind of similar to the Braves, where they're looking at question marks.
Cole. You have Garrett Cole. Be happy for that one.
Oh, I am. I mean, but beyond that,
you either get really good Masahiro Tanaka, or you get a really bad Masahiro Tanaka. Today he actually pitched great. We got good Masahiro Tanaka, so that helps.
Mm-hmm.
The offense started out good today with Luke Boyd with a double down the line. I might want to see him from Luke a lot. I think he should be our everyday first baseman, to be honest with you.
Luke's producing a lot. First baseman
too, though.
What's his name? The fucking first baseman's a good position in today's game. I feel like a lot of them are just being productive. And again, Eddie, I want to ask you, because Freddie Freeman was hitless in this series, but he's always productive, man, and I feel like he's due for another big year. I don't know how old he is. I know he's been in the league for a bit, but I don't know. I think him and fucking when Ronald gets back, Acuna, that's going to be a nice tandem to watch, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you speak of Freddie Freeman, obviously, I guess you can say the way you thought of Chipper Jones. You think Chipper Jones, you think Atlanta Braves. You think Freddie Freeman, you think Atlanta Braves. Obviously, Ronald Acuna is starting to take over that superstar role, per se, and now people are starting to think, okay, you think Braves, you think Ronald Acuna, But Freddie Freeman, for him, it was very hard. He started the season off, obviously, medically rocky from having COVID and missing a lot of the ability to really get in the cage, really get his timing down. I don't want to say that's fully the excuse, because pretty much almost everybody in baseball, couldn't get into the cage. COVID had them down, had pitchers unable to throw a bullpen. But as far as Freeman, it just seemed like he couldn't catch up to the fastball. He was having trouble picking up the fastball, and that made junk ball look even more sweeter. But he just couldn't make contact with it. And in this, like you said, in this series with the Yankees, he put some balls into play, but I just feel like they're not having enough players step up when they need to. If you're as far as the Yankees are concerned, if you have a Luke Voit who can come in and hit a home run or two, if you have a DJ LeMahieu who can go 4 for 5, or Clint Frazier come off the bench for an Aaron Judge and go 3 for 4 and be productive in that retrospect, that's the great formula for a winning ball club. And I just feel like the Braves, it just seems like if Acuna's not out there, well, whoever they're throwing out there, I mean, they can maybe get some runners over, maybe could make a good defensive play. But, in this day and age, you got to score runs. You know what I mean? It's not a pat in the back league. It's do your job or that's it. And I feel like with Acuna out of the lineup, being day to day, and of course, I just got a notification right now that he won't be in the series with the Marlins, which is, you can't. It's a big loss, because I'm not saying, oh, why is it a big loss? It's the Marlins. But if you're paying attention to baseball, the Marlins are on fire, and I'm not saying it's time to give him respect, but it might be time to give him respect.
Well, dude, he just came off nearly a 40-40 season. Acuna did, and so I think you make a good point when it comes to you're talking about the depth of your lineup. One guy has to be on for everybody else to kind of click. And I think that's the fortunate part of the Yankees, is that they have all this talent where they can afford maybe 1 or 2 guys to slump and still kind of, shrug it off and win. Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing right now. They've got Sanchez, who's, not hitting well. Occasionally he's produced, but they've got Torres who's struggling as well. But they have so much depth. They've got, Urshela's producing. They've got, again, Voit. They've got LeMahieu, who's, hitting 430 or something. So they've always got somebody chipping in. And so I think that's, you make a good point there when you talk about the disparity between Atlanta's lineup and New York's. So, Kyle, I don't know your thoughts on that, too.
Yeah, it really feels like that next man up whole lot is still here, still alive and well. You got, like Eddie said, you got Clint Frazier coming, not even playing the entire year, again, calling in at the last minute. He's going 3 for 4 with a home run. You can't even ask for better production. From the 8th hole hitter, you cannot ask for better production.
Dude, you got guys coming out the ass producing right now.
It's good to see that you can just do all these different kinds of lineups and next man up. And you got Talkman, you got Garner. Our outfield's ridiculously stacked. And the way it looks like our infield, we have a lot of depth there too. Because if Gio's down, you can put what's his name, Rob?
We've got guys stacked. Andujar stacked in the minors right now.
Andujar at third base. If Glaber goes down, he can put DJ and then move and Estrada as shortstop. Man, it's great to see. And then we finally found it seems like the Yankees haven't had an everyday first baseman since Mark Teixeira. Well, we might actually get that. We always thought, Greg Bird was going to be the next big thing, and look how he turned out.
He got hurt. He's already hurt.
That's a good
series, and we all think he's coming back, and then nah.
But that's a great segue into what I was thinking right now. Just like you said, you thought Greg Bird, you think, I'm sure there was probably maybe 3 or 4 other guys that you could think at the top of your head and be like, oh, this guy, whether it was Justice Sheffield, whether it was, certain guys that were in your minor league system where you're like, hey, I can't wait till he's there. But the thing that I like about the way the AL East is very different from the NL East and pretty much all of baseball, I guess you can say. AL West is starting to get there in the retrospect that, hey, do we want proven guys? Or are we going to just sit back and wait and hope? You know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes you land yourself like the Astros. Not everybody's going to have the fortune of just, well, boom, Altuve's there. Hey, homegrown. Springer, homegrown. Correa, homegrown. Bregman, homegrown. I know a lot of people, that's the Yankees. They're always spending money. They're always trying to buy wins. But it's a formula that has resulted in championships. It's a formula that has resulted in a lot of opportunity for the Yankees. Same goes for the Red Sox. Same goes for a lot of teams that are willing to do that. And I feel like with the Braves, yes, do we have a lot of farm systems? Sure. But how long are we going to wait till we find, a Garrett Cole in our system? Are we going to go for another 5 years, winning the division? That's great. But if you want to be like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, winning the division is not enough. You have to understand that, hey, you want to be a contender? The division, that's great. But that's in the in the rear view. Our focus is winning a World Series. And I feel like the Yankees have, yes, have they been frowned upon for it? Sure. But how can you frown upon winning? And I feel like the Braves have the opportunity to go get somebody like a DJ LeMahieu or, not a DJ, Nolan Arenado. You know what I mean? I was thinking him both coming from Colorado. But you're talking about, okay, we have a plethora of pitching prospects. What are we going to do with them? Are we going to wait, or can we trade some for proven talent? There's a lot of teams out there that aren't going to make the playoffs or maybe falter, that we can just go get their players, But it's different philosophies by general managers.
Yeah, man. And I've always thought of that little. I hated when people complained about the Yankees spending money, just because I think it's stupid. I think it's just part of the game. It's not like it's illegal. It's something that's always you're allowed to spend money. If you've got money, you spend it to your best ability. You do anything you want with it, and they've done it in the past. Are some of these contracts gonna hurt? Yeah, probably in the end. But if you get a ring or two out of it, I think you take it, and that's what it's all about in the end. Do what it takes to win. That's why the whole saying "winning at all costs." That's where that comes from, right there. And so the Braves, I'm not sure where they are, financially, but I do agree they do need that ace. They need that big guy to get, and pitching market's pretty scarce right now. But yeah, man, I agree for sure. What do I want to ask? Oh, I wanted to bring up the Astros though, because you kind of touched on it. So with this whole COVID season and everything, it's kind of taken attention away from them and how they cheated and kind of gotten away with a lot.
Joe Kelly, man.
I mean, they've already gotten to. Did you guys see the brawl with Oakland last night or the other night?
Yeah, the hitting coach.
What was that? Because I really didn't see much of it. I just heard about it.
I know they plunked him one night, and then like 2 games later, they plunked him twice in the same day, and Laureano was not having that. After the second one, he kind of had like he was signaling to the pitcher like about some sliders. Like he got snappy. He wasn't really aggressive to him. He didn't have any gripe with the pitcher because it was some young pitcher that was throwing against him. So when he got to first base, all of a sudden you see the Astros hitting coach kind of nagging him on from the dugout. He's like, "Come on, come at me." And Laureano's looking at him. He's like, "You want me?" And all of a sudden you see them go at it. And then the whole brawl came out, and all the 2 catchers started fighting. And
the thing is that this isn't sorry to cut you off. This isn't the first time Alex Intron, which is the hitting coach for the Astros, who was pretty much the main perpetrator behind the whole brawl. I feel like many times he has been in the middle of a brawl, or he's been an antagonizer in the sense where maybe it's between 2 other guys, but he kind of goes above and beyond. I'm going to defend my players type thing, but that's what a manager's for. Let your manager be that first forefront. And I feel like that's why Major League Baseball handed down such a stiff penalty of 20 games of suspension in a 60-game season. I mean, that's that's not a spank on the hand. That's pretty,
That's heavy.
Exactly.
Clearly deserved.
Yeah, and I just feel like, he needs to understand that, you're a hitting coach, not trying to take away from his position, but you're not the head coach. And players, are they going to respect you for it? Sure. At the end of the day, but at the same time, you're not a hitting coach, at the major league level on accident, or you're just there to fill in a spot. You're there because they need you. They need you to help with these hitting, especially in this time of the year that everybody seems to be struggling unless you're DJ LeMahieu. But other than that, it just seems like, a lot of people are late on the fastball, and I just feel like he needs to be there, especially for the Astros, who seem like they've been in a extra inning game every freaking game. It just seems like they'll win maybe 20% of those. It's crazy that the record obviously doesn't reflect, how much talent to have on the field, but there's a lot of little things, and who knows, like you said, with a lot of the cheating scandal, how much of that pressure has really gotten to them? How much of that, bad publicity has gotten to their psychological, their mind? Are they going to bounce back and show everybody, hey, we didn't need to do what these, I don't want to say that they did it. I don't want to say that they didn't do it, but I feel like there's enough allegation or enough evidence to say that they did something, and whatever it is that they did, they got penalized for it. And it just seems right now it's not a good look because they're not winning, given, everything that transpired, and they're going to be taking their lickings all season. They're going to be taking their lickings. Yeah. And Joe Kelly obviously, took it upon himself.
I wanted to bring that up.
Who also ended up getting his appeal. I think it went from 9 games to 6 games?
I think so, but I heard he was on the DL, or going on the DL anyway. IL, whatever.
That's a good little selling point there.
Yeah. That was funny. So I love that he made those fucking pouting faces at them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was great. But they're like 8-10 in second or third place right now, and they're not doing too hot. And I'm loving every minute of that. I just wish there was a crowd to fucking
just boo.
Yeah. And they don't even face New York this season, which sucks.
This whole COVID thing has definitely reduced it's like the heat now.
It reduced everything.
Yeah, it's just not like they can just basically just ride their way the whole time. But I'm glad that Joe Kelly did that. He just gave us a sense of justice, man. Like he did baseball. He's baseball's Batman, basically.
Dude, that's the same motherfucker I hated 2 years ago when he hit Tyler Austin.
That dude. Every time we saw him, like, here comes fucking Joe Kelly.
Yeah. Now I do want to talk about this whole COVID thing because there's been a couple of occurrences already where teams have either violated policy or players have just gotten sick. And do you guys think this is going to end well? Do you think we can get a full 60 games plus a postseason in? Or do you think it's just going to be an utter disaster at some point? Kyle, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Eddie afterwards.
it was definitely a shock when you heard like the Miami team, they got like almost their whole team got it, and you're like, Manfred was all just came out. I saw on Bleacher Report, he said, "Oh, the season might be in jeopardy now, since now the Phillies probably all got it." And believe it or not, that was the Yankee series, and then we couldn't play, which delayed us for a minute. But I think they actually handled it quite well because we're still having baseball right now. I mean, as of right now, I think we can finish out the 60 games, but come playoff time, I don't know, they might be a little bit more strict with it, or depends on how, if they're not like go to different cities to try to keep them together because there'll be less teams to keep track of. Also, I find interesting what the 16-team playoff they implemented this year. It's really might really make the playoff process really long if you think about it. Just because 16 teams, that's a lot of games.
I didn't like that idea. I mean, for this season, I guess whatever, but I've always felt like baseball was supposed to be a difficult game to make the playoffs. Like 10 out of 30 teams, that's 33% of the league making the playoffs. Yeah. You add 6 more teams, that's over half of the league making it now. I feel like that kind of diminishes the idea of baseball being this difficult marathon that you need to grind. But I don't know, what do you think, Eddie?
COVID. I mean, when you hear it, it's just obviously at this point right now, you hear it all over the news, you hear it all over politics, you hear it all over sports, and baseball right now, obviously basketball is in season as well, but right now baseball seems to be taking the spotlight as far as COVID, as far as professional sports is concerned, mainly because, like Kyle mentioned, the Marlins, they had 18 guys test positive for it, but I just feel like it might have been a blessing in disguise, and I do agree with him that I would like to think that we will finish this season off. Only reason being, the NBA, obviously created a bubble to keep their players in. Yes, have some players decided to kind of try to bend the rules a little bit, and get in trouble for it. Who
was that? Was it Lou Williams?
Yes.
Wait, so you got cross on to get takeout or something, delivery,
something like that. So, and then you have, I believe, Dan Plesac's son, who this past week just got sent home because, hey, right now Manfred he needs to make sure, or he's trying at least, to make baseball as safe as possible. And if you have players taking it upon themselves, saying, "Hey, I'm above the game, I'm above my team, I'm above my teammates," and I believe Mike Clevenger was also another one. Difference is that Mike Clevenger is a starting pitcher who they really need in that rotation. They decided, you know what? You're just going to be a little bit of, quarantine. We're not sending you home. We kind of need you. But not saying that they don't need Plesac because he's an intricate part of their bullpen. But as far as Manfred, I think right now he really wants to implement the safest possible environment. And I feel like the last 2 weeks, we've actually seen a decreasing number of people that were actually being, tested positive for it. I don't know if y'all had the privilege of watching, I believe it's called Momentum, which is Trevor Bauer's. He has like a vlog on YouTube, and he actually takes you day by day, from literally waking up and actually arriving at the ballpark, going through the procedures of, as soon as he gets there, boom, they ask him, do you have any of these following symptoms? No. They check your temperatures before they're even able to. That's in the parking lot before you even get into the facilities itself. And as you travel, same thing. Every bi-weekly or bi-daily, every other day they're getting tested. They're getting tested, and even at home, he has a little machine where he's actually getting tested as well. Checks his blood, yada yada yada. And I feel like Major League Baseball is providing a lot of opportunities for these guys to get tested. And obviously, it takes some mature minds, from these players. Yeah, they have plenty of money, and I know you want to go out there and spend it and have fun. You're still 20-something years old, but at the end of the day, you're still a professional athlete who needs to abide by the rules. And I feel like if they can do that, we can get this ridiculous 16-game playoff or 16-team playoff out of the way and crown a champion at the end of this season.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like this all year. I think we're going to have occurrences where certain players or individuals of certain organizations just violate things. But I think for the most part, if the majority of them keep doing their thing and they keep getting tested and be sure to, follow all the protocols, I think we'll be able to get it done. Now, they were talking about that bubble format, at least for the playoffs. I was watching First Take this morning, which I never usually do. I fucking hate watching them, but they were talking about doing that bubble format for the playoffs. So I'm curious to see if they're going to eventually confirm it or whatever. But it's something that we definitely have to just, I guess, go day by day with. It's unorthodox, it's different, but follow the rules, and I guess they'll be fine. Yeah.
Why not now? Like you said, 16
Right.
teams is more than half the league. If you're going to be doing it for 16 teams, what's the use of just getting the other, just like robo umpires that we want to try out in the minors and stuff like that. Why not, implement this bubble? Players, are they going to like it? No, it took a lot for this season to start, to begin with, between the players and the PA, and we don't want to get into all that, but y'all know what we're talking about. And it just seems like, if they want to implement that, why not try it during the season? You don't want this to fail during the playoffs. That's the last place you want this to fail. You have another 40 games to go. Implement it. Manfred, get with your team. What do we have to do to provide bubbles for these? I know they tried it at one point. Let's just have all games in Orlando or Arizona or Florida. But obviously the numbers got bad in Florida, and they were like, "That's not even touch Florida. That's not even get near Florida. Don't even fly in that direction." And I know because I think it was Disney at one point, and they were thinking about that because they have the Braves. There's a lot of obviously minor league systems out there, and then in Arizona have the other, American League, National League, kind of mix it up, and just like spring training. But I just feel like the playoffs isn't the time to be testing bubbles. Yeah, I think we need to do that now, or not have it at all.
Right, I agree. Robot umpires. What do you think, Kyle? I don't fucking know about that. You bring that up.
Really can get Angel Hernandez from being an umpire.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And it has nothing to do with race, Angel. If you're listening to this, it has nothing to do with race.
Umpire.
You just stink at your job.
All right. I mean, he was doing the Yankees game the other night, and his strike zone was just way inconsistent. First inning, already Aaron Boone's bitching at him to tighten his shit up. It's the first damn inning, and he's missing calls by 2 feet. But I'm all for the home plate being a robot umpire, yeah, but we still need the human side of it in the field, I believe. I mean, we have robot umpires in the field. I just gonna think it's kind of weird. I just don't know how they would do it. I can definitely see the home plate robot umpire though. I think it's a good idea actually to maybe make the strike zone more perfect. But I know that the old school fans are gonna hate me for saying that. But I mean,
I'm an old school fan, so I hate it.
I mean, the game of baseball, in terms of popularity, is on the downfall because we're not really modernizing the game at all. I mean, I believe Ron Manfred should be fired as commissioner. He's really not helped at all since he became commissioner. But robot umpires are definitely. I'm up for him. Definitely up for him.
What do you think?
I just feel like I'm as old school as it gets when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, baseball's supposed to be old school, man.
I'm not a big fan of the DH. I know some people are very for the DH.
Hot take.
Yeah, it brings. I guess you can say, hey, chicks dig the long ball, right? Well, so do people in general. They love home runs, and you take the pitcher out of it. And I get it. You want to avoid injury with pitchers, and less swings, less pitches they have to actually see. The better, I guess you can say. But at the same time, if the game originated with pitchers hitting, then leave it as is. And if the game originated with human umpires, then leave it as is. I get it. Technology has advanced throughout time, but the human element is a huge factor. And I feel like, who knows if we were to go back, 20, 30 years, how many different outcomes in Major League Baseball, how many different outcomes World Series wise or playoff wise or wins and losses would we have if we actually had, instant replay in baseball, which is another thing I don't necessarily like. Yes, I get it. Some people love it because it gets the game fair, but we're not even 100% with that. Sometimes we've seen the human eye can obviously see an out or save, and obviously these replays are supposed to see what we can't see. obviously it's a bang bang play when it comes to the umpires, and they can barely. Sometimes they have to go off, or not. Sometimes they have to go off sound rather than sight when they're playing in these games because,
Right.
which is crazy to me because you have 40,000 plus fans there. How do you go off sound? But at home plate, how are you going to dictate? Now we're talking about technology. You want the human element. Okay, Major League Baseball. Let's throw, some human element in this. Well, what percentage of balls and strikes, is human element? Are we going to go and review every single umpire in the league and say, okay, the average umpire makes 30% wrong calls? Okay, so how are we going to articulate that in a home plate umpire? Be like, okay, because then if it's supposed to be perfect, how is there going to be human element? And I just feel like some of these pitchers, I think at one point they had some type of, what was it, like in 2009, they had like cameras that were on the side of each dugout that were supposed to relay some information to umpires. And I remember, I believe it was Kurt Schilling or someone who walked up to it and kicked it because he just didn't like it. Got fined a pretty hefty amount, but it was something that they had tried then, didn't work out. So I feel like I'm as old school as it gets, like I mentioned earlier. I don't want it, don't like it. Keep it out of baseball. You want to try it out. You want to test it in the minors, just like Major League Baseball loves to do. Test everything in the minors.
Yeah.
Leave it in the minors if that's what you really want. But do not change the integrity of the game.
Yeah, I think that's too far. The whole analytics thing today just is a little too overblown to me. I still feel like there needs to be more of a balance with all these metrics and everything. And I don't know, it's just there's so much they're trying to change, and sometimes I feel like Manfred is trying to change things just for the sake of changing them and not really for the benefit of the game, So
like I said, I think Rob Manfred needs to go. He's done a poor job of just managing baseball since he's became commissioner. I mean, like I said, popularity is really dying. Like, not even ESPN really shows baseball highlights anymore. Like,
it's all football, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, ESPN only shows LeBron.
It's all.
Or the Cowboys. Will Dak sign?
Yeah. Like, it's either Cowboys or LeBron or basketball. It's really, and you
Zion
football and Zion. I don't play too much because that's a whole different thing. But I think
I'm always watching MLB Network now because that's the only place where I can get baseball. Like, everything's taken over.
I feel like the analytics is such a heavy topic. It's such a heavy topic, but at the same time, I feel like it is, me personally, a lot of people are going to say analytics, hey, it's helping the game, it's helping pitchers. I get it. But from a standpoint of it, last night I was watching MLB Network, and they were mentioning how the amount of strikeouts has increased exponentially the last, pretty much the decade. The numbers from the 80s to now are ridiculous. And I'm currently right now I help at a baseball facility. My forte is mainly hitting, and one thing that I try and instill in my kids is not launch angle. I'm old school when it comes to the hitting approach. I love Chipper Jones's approaches, the Albert Pujols, and I feel like we all have a natural launch angle no matter what. And the thing is that a lot of players and a lot of coaches are really trying to get players to, go up on the ball. Exactly, and I'm not a fan of it. And I feel like if you want guys to be hitting 300, hitting 20 some home runs, which is normal. We're not supposed to be trying to hit 50 home runs, batting, 225 and striking out,
Look at DJ LeMahieu.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of coaches these days, in the words of the Domingo Ayala, you want to elevate to celebrate, and I feel like a lot of people are emulating that. And it just seems like, why are we allowing this? Why are we allowing our youth to be, seeing players at least being thought to be, launch angle or uppercut? You see, yes, does it work for certain players? Sure. You know, you have your Cody Bellingers, you know, your Josh Donaldsons, you know, but at the same time, you're talking about the amount of players that are hitting the ball in the air or just striking out. There's no in between.
No.
I want base hits, you know, and I feel like with the amount of games, like Kyle hit it on the nail. Baseball is getting boring. I love baseball. I mean, that's my obviously my favorite, my passion. But you know, I can watch baseball, but I can't go, you know, next door and expect my neighbor who's a big Cowboy fan to be like, "Hey, man, come over. Let's watch the Yankees. Let's watch the Braves. You know, let's watch baseball in general." He's be like, "Yeah, I'd rather just watch, you know, ESPN and watch some basketball highlights and watch them talk about the Cowboys all day." You know, and that's why I feel like Rob Manfred, you hit it on the nail, hasn't done anything for this game, hasn't done anything to create popularity. And I feel like the other two, commissioners in the other two leagues, major basketball, you know, and football, you know, as much as Goodell kind of gets the booze here and there, he has done a lot to help this game evolve, whether it's from a, you know, marketing, advertising standpoint, international standpoint. You know, I know we tried London baseball and certain aspects, but it's just very hard because, you know, the travel and the logistics of it. I just don't feel like Rob Manfred has not necessarily the knowledge. I just don't feel like he's doing enough to really get this game back to how it was. America bred baseball in the 1920s. It was something that you just did. You know, now football, I'm from Texas. Texas is all about high school football. It's a normal thing down here. You know, if you skip church to watch Dallas Cowboys play, it seemed like that was the right thing to do. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go into religion. Don't worry about that. But it just seems like here in Texas, you know, it's football and then it's everything else. And I feel like back in the 20s, it was baseball and then everything else. Now it seems like America is driven by football and basketball, and baseball needs to do a lot more to get back into this game, into this race.
You're fucking spot on. And I think, dude, we have to stop trying to change the game with pitch clock, with he's not allowed to step out of the box, and try to change our players' ways. Like, stop trying to, you know, I think it starts on the field where we have to get back to fundamentals. And, you know, back in the day, it was, you know, Ichiro was the guy who just knew how to straight up hit. It was, what's the motherfuckers, the dude who never struck out, Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, dude, he could flat out. I love those types of hitters, and I feel like getting guys, you know, you don't even have to be a straight up contact finesse type of hitter. Just guys that make contact at even a moderate rate. We need more of that and less of those guys who strike out 200, you know, times a season or 30% of their at bats, and get back to just playing baseball and, you know, settling for that single the other way or hitting the double in the gap and not just worrying about hitting the ball 450 feet, lifting weights, trying to look like an Olympic freak.
Exactly. Too many people are now pool happy now. That's why half the league has shifts on them now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
It's a whole different thing.
It's, I don't know, man. I definitely agree. It's, something that I've always been paying attention to, and it's a growing concern of mine. Personally, I just feel like it's really starting to take a big impact and negatively. So I hope that we can eventually get back to all around baseball, I guess. I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts, but we're about 45 minutes in almost. Thank you for coming on, man. Both of you.
Oh, it's great to be here, Rob. Really great.
Sure is.
Yeah, guys. So, you guys have anything else you want to add? Any plugs or anything I can put into it, or no? Nothing.
Free Joe Kelly.
What?
Free Joe Kelly.
Yeah, for Justice for Joe. Hashtag Justice for Joe.
I got one last question for y'all. Right here. Predictions. World Series. Who's in it? Who wins it?
All right.
And it's okay if you want to see the Yankees, not biased.
I never pick the Yankees because I've always feel like that's bad luck. I don't want to jinx it. So I'm gonna go. Let's say for the National League, we'll go LA. But they won't win because they never do. And I have for the American League. That's gonna be fun. I feel like it's gonna be Oakland's year. They're gonna shock the hell out of people. So let's go Oakland. I'll throw it out there.
That's not bad, Kyle.
I actually think this is the Yankees' year, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We say it every year, but I'm very confident this is the Yankees' year. But for my dark horse for the National League, I'm going with the Rockies. I'm going with the Rockies against the Yankees in the World Series.
Blackman's hitting 500 right now.
I think Colorado is 1 through 4 with the whole Story, Blackman, and Arenado trio. I think David Dahl's actually kicking ass too at the top of the lineup. I've seen, finally not hurt, but I think Arenado's hitting like close to 400, and just like you said, Blackman's batting 500 and
500
dropping bombs. I mean, and they're actually pitching great. The Rockies are actually pitching good for once. Yeah, I think the Rockies actually have a good in a 60-game stretch. I think they actually make it far.
I think.
That's the thing, dude. Go ahead.
It's kind of weird. Well, I wouldn't say weird. I mean, I guess if you've been paying attention a little bit, but it's not what you're gonna think. Yeah, I'm gonna say Dodgers, Astros, Dodgers, Yankees. No, I'm actually going with the San Diego Padres.
Okay. Shit.
Versus the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow, that's like a small market galore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I say that, and yes, this is going to take a little bit of a sprinkling from the Padres and a little bit of sprinkling from the Rays to, if they're in the race, I feel like they will be. I feel like they're going to have to make a little bit of moves, maybe get some players from here and there and kind of sprinkle in some starting pitching, or maybe from the Rays standpoint, maybe one more good, decent hitter. Because I feel like the Rays rotation is really good. And I feel like the Padres have a lot of, Raul Mondesi Jr. out there, dropping tanks every at bat, it seems like. And I feel like they're going to start feeding Manny Machado. They have a pretty decent squad down there. And I feel like I said, if they sprinkle a little bit of magic, do a little trades, get themselves maybe a pitcher or two, I think they can run the table in the National League.
Definitely bad Machado underneath, but Tatis has definitely helped them out.
Especially because I feel like the Dodgers are just gonna. They're the Cowboys of the MLB. Great team, but they're just gonna fold in the playoffs every year. It doesn't matter.
Well, you guys, what about MVP candidates for each league? Who do you think's winning the MVP?
Ooh.
AL and NL. Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Ooh. That is hard right now.
It's hard to tell.
I'm going to go with Aaron Judge in the American League.
Yeah.
And in the National League, I mean, it's up in the air in the National League. I just feel like right now there's so many players that aren't themselves right now.
I mean, the obvious choice would be Blackman if you're going off the stats. But
if you're going straight up right now with the stats.
Oh, yeah.
Blackman
it's not sustainable.
No.
It's not sustainable. It'll be very hard to... I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know myself.
I mean, honestly, Tatis, if he can carry out, he could be NL MVP too,
I mean, if he continues the way he's going, and he's reminding me a lot of Acuna.
I feel like he's going to come down Tatis eventually.
Dude, Acuna versus Torres. Who's gonna have the better career?
As of right now, I don't know.
It's tough right now, man. Torres.
I don't know about Torres right now.
What's going on?
I don't think he's just taking so many pitches. He's not really himself right now. He's looking at a lot of strikes. He's swinging at a lot of balls. That's not a recipe for success.
I mean, I don't want to sound biased, but I just feel like Acuna brings more to the table.
He's a 5-tool guy.
Yeah, his ability to hit, 40, be able to steal 40, has a plus arm, has plus defense. He's very young. I feel like the better comparison between Acuna isn't Torres. I think the better comparison is Juan Soto versus Acuna. Who's going to have the better, career there? I mean, obviously both have great intangibles. Soto, I feel like might be a better, overall hitter.
His approach is right at the plate.
Right. He is at old school. He's a Rob Carbone type.
But look at him. There. Look at us, man.
He hits all fields. He hits all fields. And Acuna, he's the defensive type of guy with the arm. And, Soto, he he's young. He's gonna get better. Yeah. I feel like he's eventually gonna be what them two is gonna be. What kind of what Bellinger, Yelich is right now. Mike Trout, he's above everybody. Let's be honest. It's Mike Trout, and
you can't compare anybody to Mike Trout.
Exactly. Bellinger and Yelich, they're there.
I agree.
Yelich was good, but man, Yelich is cooled off the start this year too, man. Batting 136, I think. I think he is heat up though. I think he's starting to heat up. He had a few home runs the other day.
But speaking of comparisons, I think for Torres, somebody who's further, obviously a little further down the line right now, but I think a good comp for Torres would be to eventually groom himself into a Manny Machado type of player. Somebody who'll probably sit around 275, maybe hit your 30 home runs, and be productive offensively and play some defense at shortstop. So I think that's probably a better, Acuna versus Soto comparison to look at. But yeah, there's a lot of young talent in this league that I'm excited to see, not just on the Yankees, but
if you want somebody to compare to Gleyber Torres, and this isn't, here we go again. The Braves guys bringing Braves players into this, but Ozzie Albies really came into his own last year. He's another player that wasn't in the lineup this last two games. Him and Acuna, that's 1 and 2 right there in the lineup, and they're them being absent is big for the Braves. But I feel like Gleyber Torres and him have the ability to they're not going to be the leaders of their team. That's what Acuna and that's what Aaron Judge is for on each respective team. But I feel like they could be your everyday guy, your everyday all-star to sneak in. And as long as they're productive, that's all you can ask for. They don't need you to be the team leader because we already have our team leaders, and I feel like Gleyber Torres, he's showed. And one thing also is Luke Voit. I'm going to throw this in there. Luke Voit needs more respect. I saw an article the other day already considering throwing the guy to the minors and giving him some bench time. No, come on. I look at the stats at that time that article was written. He had 10 at-bats into the season. You want to tell me that a guy after 10 at-bats, if you want to write baseball, you have to come from a baseball player's perspective. It's not easy. The game's designed for you to fail. And if you can't accept that a guy, hey, he goes 1 for 10, let's throw him out. No, if that's the case, then we wouldn't have a lot of guys in our league.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper didn't start off great. There's a lot of guys that we just, let's just get rid of them. No. 10 at bats? Come on.
Dude, it took 10 years to get the hit.
Dude, baseball is a difficult game. I mean, why do you think hitting 300, a.k.a. getting out 70% of your at-bats, is considered elite?
Exactly.
It's for a reason. It's not an easy game to play. It's so long, on normal circumstances, it's a 162 game marathon. So you have to fight that dog fight. And then you have to go and play in the cold fall weather for big playoffs. It's not an easy sport to play. And, it's easy for us as fans to sit here on the couch and yell and scream as I do all the time. But it's difficult, man. It's really difficult. But guys, I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate it once again, and thank you.
Not a problem. Thanks for having us, BD4.
All right. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.